Hi, folks. Dana Torgerson here, Vice President of Product Marketing at ArmorCode, and I'm with Mark Lambert, Chief Product Officer of ArmorCode. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Dana. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new podcast.
Yes, Agents of Security.
Yes, indeed. So, as we see that agentic is really a big part of the conversation today in the industry, we thought we should rebrand the podcast. And we're here at RSA 2026. We're at the Purple Community event. So you can see a bunch of sessions from us recorded live from our lovely little meeting room here. And you can see folks behind us coming in and out of the event.
Excellent. Well, agentic AI, as you mentioned, it's not coming, it's not around the corner, it's already here. So where are agents currently operating? Where are they being found? And how can that help folks?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's really been something that's moved very, very fast. I mean, if you look, just last year, right, way back into 2025,
that's right.
That's when we launched 𝗠cie, which is our agentic virtual security champion, is how we were talking about it this time last year. Now it's evolved into a framework. And what's happening is organizations are deploying agentic workflows at a pace of adoption that really is very surprising. The kind of things that we're seeing people using agentic workflows for are things like obviously triaging and remediation actions, but also kind of presenting information in a way that's really tailored for that persona. And all of these workflows are the kind of things we've been building into the ArmorCode platform and what we're releasing with 𝗠cie agents that we'll be talking about as well a little bit post RSA.
Just a little bit, Okay. Well, what risks would agents introduce into organizations and for security teams to have to think about and consider?
Well, the obvious one is non-determinism. Making sure, when you have some kind of normal automation, like a script-based automation or a no-code automation framework, you've got deterministic workflows. The good thing about that is you know what it's going to do, but the bad thing about that is you can't really cover all of the other conditions that maybe you need some more context for.
Sure thing.
Now, you asked me the question, is like, well, what challenges are that? Well, obviously, the AI, as I said, it's non-deterministic. It could potentially do something you weren't expecting it to do. So you need to have auditing. You need to have visibility. You also need to have human in the loop as well. So often people will talk about agency. How much kind of the autonomy does the agent have? What type of decisions and actions can it perform? So that concept of agency is really important so you don't put the business at risk.
That makes sense. Now, what would actually break if you don't govern those agents?
Well, it really depends upon what the agent has been configured to do. So if you're doing remediation actions, for example,
good example,
one of the things that the agent would do is it would go ahead and modify some code or deploy a patch or maybe switch out a library. That could obviously break something. So what you have to do is you have to make sure you have the appropriate regressions or tests in place to make sure that you're catching any problems before it goes to the later stage. What I've seen a number of folks in the community do is they'll actually run multiple agents from leveraging different fundamental LLMs. So maybe they'll one organization that I was talking to was leveraging Claude for remediation guidance. So kind of like opinions. Hey, is this something that's a false positive? And really doing triaging rather than remediation so much. But then they were also balancing that with Gemini. So they were actually using multiple LLMs together to determine kind of like what was the right action.
Wow.
And then I've also seen organizations leveraging another agent or LLM to actually do the testing and validation. So it's kind of trying to do kind of like a double blind kind of thing.
And that sounds to me, with this almost chain of custody between different LLMs, that is a lot of areas where things could break if you don't have your whereabouts about the agents.
And I think, again, it comes down to auditing and having visibility.
Makes perfect sense,
But the reality is that the threat actors, they're leveraging AI, they're leveraging LLMs. I mean, Jason Clinton from Anthropic gave a presentation at the Purple Book community webinar, and he talked about state actors leveraging Claude to perform attacks.
Yeah.
And they're constantly looking at how those systems or how their systems are being used.
Refining, improving.
And making sure that they can capture some of those. So bad guys are using it.
Yeah.
So we also have to look, but we also have to make sure we have the right controls in place, because it's not just, a bad guy just has to be able to break the system. We can't break the system. So we have to leverage it with some controls and guardrails.
That makes sense. If you can't see the actions, you can't control the risk.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, gosh, thank you very much, Mark Lambert. I appreciate it. And again, welcome to Agents of Security.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Cheers.